Hi everyone, this is Tuplex. Welcome back. Let's continue setting up our mega base. Next task is to connect our iron lines up here to an iron mine, and I think I will do this one. So let's call this, actually I think, yeah, this one is iron 1, so let's call that other one iron 2. Or actually maybe I should just upgrade iron 1 and add another train to it. Now let's just take the closest one first. Alright, so this one's going to be iron 1. So what I like to do is just label the map with these numbers so I can keep track of where they are. This one will be iron 2, and this will be the first one that goes into our new smelting area. Alright, so let's get in the train, and we're going to have to continue running the rail down here. I think where this copper is, I am going to have to avoid that somehow. So we'll probably have to come out a bit to get around that copper patch. I don't want to get in the way of it. Alright, so let's take our train down here. Now, you'll probably notice that I haven't put out a video in a couple days. Part of that is just because I've been relatively busy outside of my YouTube life. But the other part of it is I've been a little bit stuck on how to proceed. I've been having second thoughts about having these isolated train networks, and I wasn't quite sure what I should do next. So I've been giving that a lot of thought, and then last night I was on Discord chatting with some of the members of my Discord channel, some of my patrons, and they kind of helped me figure out what to do. So to make a long story short, I am going to continue along the path that we've already begun here. But I think I'm going to have to link these train networks eventually, I think. The thing that really caused me to have second thoughts was, the fact that I'm going to have to refuel the trains, which is something I hadn't really considered in my planning yet. And really, when you have, if I'm going to have, whoops, I put that in the wrong spot. If I'm going to have lots of disconnected train networks, then refueling is going to become a nightmare, because then I'm going to have a refueling system set up on each and every one of those isolated networks. Why? Oh. Is that right? Yeah. No. There we go. Yeah, so to make a long story short, I've decided that I am going to have... okay, yeah, see, so here's where we're going to want to play with the route a little bit. I'm going to have... well, I mean, I don't have to. You could do that, but to me it just seems like it'll be a lot of extra work. So what I decided to do instead was to connect these in a more traditional sort of a layout, like I've done in previous series. All right, let's see here. That should give us enough room. Okay. Oops. Right, so the problem I've had in the past with more traditional, and when I say traditional, I just mean, having like a common rail line that all the trains eventually merge onto. The problem you get with that is just traffic problems. So that's why I'm not too crazy about doing that. But I think if I'm careful with it, this doing a 45 is always 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then there. Sorry, my commentary is a little sporadic here while I try to work and talk at the same time. In any case, what I was trying to say is that you get a lot of traffic problems when you have all your train traffic merging onto a common trunk or spine or whatever you want to call it. And I learned that firsthand in my previous series. So I want to avoid doing that. But I also want to avoid the hassle of having lots of independent refueling stops and fuel generation areas. So I think I am going to link all the train networks together somehow. But as I build this up, I will be keenly focused on where my traffic is going, and I will just try to limit the paths, make them as short as possible. I'll try to limit how many trains go on shared shared trunks, let's call them. So I may have like multiple common trunks, but then, have them connected in strategic places so that the fuel trains can get around, but that will avoid all the trains just kind of converging onto one spot. So thanks to the guys who worked with me on this and helped me figure out how to go forward. I appreciate that. In fact, I just got a message right now from Lumberjack, who's one of my patrons, and he's just asking me if I got over my midlife crisis yet. I love you, buddy. Thanks. Okay, let's see. We need a T. And how did I do this before? Okay. Yeah, I haven't used these blueprints in a while. So when I do a T, I need to remove the rail between two power poles, and then my T junction will fit in there. There we go. This is not a good spot for the T junction, actually, now that I look at it, because, well, I guess it's okay. Since I'm using a two-headed train, I can just have the station right there. No problemo. Okay, so let's go back to the straight. Is that right? Yep. Okay, and it seems like I'm out of rail, so let's bring my train. My train's going to have to go all the way around. All right, I'll just run up there. And I got rid of my extra legs. I should really carry those around with me. Or maybe what I'll do, one thing I've seen some people do is make a second power armor and just load it full of legs, and then you can just swap it out when you need to run someplace. Maybe I'll do that. I mean, it's a little bit expensive, but at this point in the game, it's not going to be a big issue. Okay, so let me grab more rail. I'll get some extra signals. I already have stations. I'll take all the mining drills. Some of these, some of those. And I'll get some more lights, and that should be good. All right, so I'm going to send this back so it gets out of the way and my supply trains can go through. I want to keep up the artillery work. I think I might redo this entrance part. Because I don't like the trains have to cross over it to return. And then I'm going to have that huge block. There's only going to be one train in there at a time. I don't know. I'm not sure that that's going to work very well. So I may end up redesigning that and going back to a more traditional one. Now, and I'm going to have to redo my train blueprints too, because this is, I mean, my signal spacing on the straight rail, I guess this is okay. This will work. Yeah, this is fine. Okay, so now I'm going to tear this up. And what I have to do is set up a station. That will accommodate my rather large ore train, the 282. Okay, so it'll go in there. So right where I'm standing is where the back end of it is going to be. All right, so I'll put it right there. And let's just double check that. Perfect. Okay, and then this is how you would combine a two-way rail network with a station that has two-headed trains. Right, so it'll go out on this side and it'll come in on this side. Put a chain there. That's really not necessary, is it? No, and I'll put a chain there. That one is necessary. That way, if I ever have a second ore train, it'll wait here until the train comes out of the station, so it won't block this exit path. Okay. So far, so good. All right, now let's set up the mining. This is a rather puny patch of iron, to be quite honest. All right, let's get power brought over here. All right, so we'll need one there, and then I'll put one there. I think I'm just going to load it. Yeah, I'm just going to load it from one side. In this case, just because I don't think I have these power poles in the right place. Okay, maybe they were in the right place. Okay. So let's set up the mining drills. And we'll want the belts to come over on this side, and I'm going to need, well, I don't necessarily need, hey, all right. We got all of our research done. Awesome. So we only have infinite research left to go. We could start doing some of it, but we would have to launch more rockets. I think I'll just wait. So I think we'll just put a stop to research for now. All right. Let's see. Do I want the belts to come out this way? I think I'll just have the belts exit at the top. And I know you could use, blueprints and bots to do this, but to be honest, I feel like it's just as fast to do it manually. There. Okay, so at the most, we've got 26 mining drills. So yeah, so we can use red belts here. That'll be more than enough. In fact, in some cases, yellow belts will be sufficient. Like here. Over here as well, probably a yellow belt will be enough. All right, and then I'll do red belts there. And here. And there. Okay, no, I think I will use bots to copy my power poles. Okay, and then we can get rid of those, get rid of that one, and all the others we do need. Okay, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 5 belts, which is a little bit inconvenient. Here, I know what we can do. One, two, three. We'll join that up with this one. And then I'll just do red belts the rest of the way up. Okay, so now we've got 4 belts. That's easy to balance. Okay. 1, 2. Okay. And then let's set up our, pardon me, let's set up the inputs. Okay, I'm only going to use fast inserters to load. Because with the output that we're going to get from this mine, that'll be more than sufficient. So that's 4. And I'm going to have to move this pole. 8. There we go. Trying to decide if I want to bother using a circuit to keep these things balanced. I probably should. Yeah, let's do that. All right, so what I've got to do is link all the chests together. And you can do that with blueprints, and you get free circuit wire. Okay. And then I need to link all these inserters together separately, though. Okay. And then I need to link each inserter with its respective box using a different colored wire. Okay. Like that. All right, we can connect this now. They're not going to do anything until I tell them when to enable. And then we need an arithmetic combinator. Right here. Okay. So I've got 6 times 8, that's 48 chests, right? So on the input side, we're going to take each signal and we're going to divide it by minus 48. And we're going to output it as each. That way, whatever signal comes in, it'll go out as the same type. All right. So what this is doing is this is calculating the average contents of all of these chests, and then it's converting it into a negative number. Okay, so out of all these chests, the average contents are 20 each, and we turn it into a minus 20. All right, and then we connect that result. We connect that result to all of the inserters. Okay, so they're all getting that minus 20 ore. All right. And then we also linked the contents of the chest in front of each inserter to it. Right, so now this one, for example, is getting a minus 20, and then it's also getting a plus 2. So the net result is negative, meaning that the chest in front of it has less than the average. So I want this one to activate. Right, so we're going to turn these on, enable when how do I want to do this? Everything? Or anything? Yeah, so we're going to enable when anything is less than 0. Right, so this way only the chests that are below average are going to turn on, and the chests that are above average won't add anymore. So by doing this over time, eventually all the inserters will seek to fill the chest up to the average quantity. And by doing that, they will all fill relatively evenly. Which we will see in action here in a moment. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, the reason you want to do that is so that... Oh, no. Okay, I need my train back. The reason you want to do that is so that you don't have any... Like when the chests are loading evenly, then when the train arrives, you will have a relatively equal amount of ore in all these chests, and then all of the inserters loading the train will be activated until the chests are empty. So the net effect is that your train will get loaded faster. If you don't do that, for example, then like these first couple of chests will always have a lot more ore. The train will arrive, all 6 of the inserters will start, and then at the end you're only going to have 2 inserters working to finish loading the train, and that makes the train load slower. So that's why having evenly distributed chests is a good idea for your trains. Now, the downside of doing this is that it does slow down the loading of the chests a little bit. In fact, I would say that it probably slows it down by about 50% because, in general, only half of these inserters are going to be working at any given time. Okay, see, so these are all loaded up to the average. Now eventually, once these other ones catch up, you'll see that they all start working. Yeah, and it looks like the blue inserters on this are fast enough. Okay, so now if we kind of run down the line, you can see that, with a couple exceptions, a few of these chests where we started early, it'll be a while before those start kicking in, but we can see now that the chests all have pretty close to an equal amount. They might differ by a couple just because of the stack sizes on the inserters. Okay, and now we have a problem. Now they're all equal and they've all stopped. So we have to introduce some bias in here. Let me see what happens if we say less than 1. That doesn't help. What's the stack size on these 3? So let's use the stack size. We want to make sure that they always work. And I think if we set it to the stack size, yeah, that'll make it so that they don't stop. That looks about right. Okay, so they're all still working, but they're still trying to stay equal to the average. That's what they're trying to do. Okay, good. All right, we need to rename this stop. This is going to be iron 2. Okay, so the next thing we'll need to do is get a train in there and set up the schedule between iron 2 and the iron smelting area. So we'll do that in the next episode. And we're going to have to refuel the trains as they come in here. So that way all the trains carrying ore between the mines and the smelting area will get refueled when they come to smelting. That way we only have to refuel them in one spot. And I think what I'm going to do is set up the refueling at the stacker. So I'll have a fuel train come in here, drop off some solid fuel or rocket fuel or something, and then just use belts to feed each of the trains. And to make that work, I'll have to put a station here on each of these stacker lanes. So we'll just call it iron in or something like that. We'll have the trains stop there for 5 seconds or something so that they can load a little bit of fuel before they move on into the smelters. Okay, so that'll do it for today. Thanks a lot, everybody. We'll continue this when we come back. Take care. Bye-bye.